Fuzzytail Farm and the Frightful Candy Goat Massacre, LN-1. And this is the last day. I think actually tomorrow you can still get this adventure, and you can play it until the end of the year, I believe. So we'll just recap a little bit. Actually, there's nothing to recap. We'll restart from the beginning with your characters. The 5 of you having traveled into hither in the swampland that is this Fey realm, met up together, and you have various reasons for being here. So let's go back over those real quick, and we'll do some character introductions. So if you can recall why you're here, I'll give a rundown of what the reasons were. You can work it into your character introduction. So we have leaving the Witchlight Carnival. You visit the carnival, and you're traveling on into hither. You have Fey friends. You have tied to the Fey because of your background in your class. You might have been offered a favor to come to the aid of Farmer Fuzzytail by another Fey. You're native in Candlekeep. You have ties to Candlekeep. Have let you met the ogre named Little One. And Little One has heard tales of Fey marshmallow goats, which sound like just the anniversary present to give to his friend Portia Underfoot and her wife Elspeth. And lastly, there is a deep gnome who owns a grocery store in Waterdeep named Bunny's Grocery Store. And Bunny specializes in pickled goods, particularly carrots, but he's looking to branch out into confectionaries, and he sent you ahead into this realm to try and work a deal to get some from the Fae, and that'll put him well above his competitors. You don't have to actually negotiate the deal, but just make introductions and see if they will work with you and with Bunny Carrot Bringer. Okay, so we'll start with Ak. Go ahead, Ak.
So Ak is an alien, i.e. from Mars Attacks, the movie and trading card. And he is following the party along, assessing whether they're friendly or foe. It's more a curiosity. You know, he hasn't spent a lot of time in the area, especially if there's different races to be seen. But he will, he most likely fell through into the Feywild chasing something else.
Okay, and naturally attracted to a farm massacre because he's an alien.
Yeah.
Derek's, go ahead.
Okay. Derek's the Delighter is a sailor who was cast away for various reasons. The other sailors felt he was unlucky and came ashore near Waterdeep and owes Buddy a favor, so has agreed to come to the Feywild in search of confectionery contacts. He has a beak, so isn't really afraid of tooth decay.
Okay, Gail's not here yet, so we'll get back to the Furbolg Druid next. Galandan, go ahead.
Galandan Silosient is a half-elf warlock. As a child, he wandered into the Witchlight Carnival without a ticket, and his sense of direction was stolen from him. He got lost on his way home, and by the time he arrived home, his family had been massacred by some beast from the Feywild. But he was saved by a passing Harengon ranger who delivered him back to the Witchlight Carnival and made introductions. And Galandan was hired on as a Witchlight hand, where he spent his formative years. At one point, while wandering around outside the carnival, he met a archfey and made a pact with him and became a warlock. And now he has fallen through or walked through a portal in the Witchlight Carnival into the Feywild to try to track down his lost sense of direction.
Okay. And lastly, so you haven't found your lost sense of direction yet, so you just are kind of always on edge, and don't have inspiration. Unfortunately, the rest of you have inspiration. Gale did not make it back, so it'll just be you four. Little Red, go ahead.
Little Red is a carny. Works in the Witchlight Carnival. No real crazy backstory. He just walks around basically and sets up tents, and maybe if somebody is super busy, he might man or Herringon one of the stalls. But that's how deep he is as an individual. He just walks around, setting up things, fixing things. There is a little break in the carnival, so they're going off in this little, there needs to be some repairs. So he just sees this as a gig to kind of go back into the Feywild, making a little extra money. Nothing more complicated than that. So I wanted to do the Waterdeep one because that sounded so great, but he'll just go from the carnival right into the Feywild, just as to make some extra money.
Okay. So there's been a frightful catastrophe that struck the Fuzzytail farm just before you all arrive. The sun's shining brightly. It's a pleasant autumn day. The four of you have just introduced yourselves to each other. When you see a damaged farm up ahead, there's candy crops that have been pulled up by the roots. There's chunks of marshmallow goats that are strewn about a barn. There's a young rabbit folk trying to gather them up and reassemble the distressed sweet creatures. One of the rabbit folk sits on the farmhouse stoop, weeping as another tries to comfort him. The property slopes toward the east into a swampy, forested area. The thick trees and overgrowth there cast deep shadows. There are Herringon rabbit folk farm hands all over trying to repair the damage that's been done to the farm. So, we'll start with Little Rock. Little Rock, you see a couple Herringon at the house, one weeping. You see one Herringon at the barn trying to put goats back together. You see farm hands in the fields, and an apiary, and a chicken coop. What would you like to do, Little Red?
The young one that's trying to muster up the goats.
Yep, trying to get the goats together and put them back together because there's goat pieces strewn all over the place.
So it's more of a crafting than rallying.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll still help them regardless. Okay. I'll help them anyway.
You go over there to try and help the young rabbit folk. You see this young rabbit folk. Looks like a kind of a hands-on, tomboyish type girl. She is the daughter of the two that are in the house. Precocious little girl. She says, "Hey, come help me put together these goats." And so, help him put the goats together will require. So you see dismembered marshmallow goats littered all around you. This girl Ella is trying to put them back together. You see the side of the barn that you're standing out in front of has had something painted on it that's been washed away, but there's still some faint markings of something like a skull. The farmer star is reassembling a disgruntled goat that's bleeding, even though it's in pieces. It's a little disconcerting that the goats are still seemingly alive, even though they're dismembered. If you'd like to help her, it's a DC 10 Dex check to try and assemble a goat.
Okay. Sure it's not strength?
Nope, not strength.
All right. Oh, okay.
Okay, so you're helping put together a goat. She nods in appreciation while you're doing that. Let's see. Next to go would be Galindan.
Galindan is going to go over and help try to comfort the upset Herringon.
Okay. So you get to the farmhouse. There's two Herringon there. One is probably the owner of the farm. And he looks real nervous. He's kind of jumping at shadows. He jumps at your shadow when it first crosses him. He's been sobbing over the farm. And then next to him is probably his wife, who looks up at you when you arrive. And she says, Why, hello. What is your name?
I am Galindan Silocient.
Galind, I wonder if maybe you all can help me. You look like adventurers.
I am pretty new at the adventuring life, but I hope that I can nevertheless help you.
Well, she starts to share with you some information. The farmer chimes up crying. He says, we'll never make payroll. We're not going to be able to pay our farm hands. And while you're doing that conversation, we'll go to Derek's. So Derek's, what would you like to do?
Okay, well, Derek's would like to help comfort the farmer by ambling over and offering a torn bit of his scarf and saying, thank you.
All right. Let's see, you could do a charisma check, persuasion if you like. To do that, there you go. 12. Okay, so you were able to comfort the farmer a little bit. And lastly, ack. What do you want to do?
So Ack is going to pause for a moment and assemble his Eldritch Cannon.
Nice. There, it's working, Derek's. Nice.
There you go. It all took was reloading.
Your Eldritch Cannon is assembled. And while you're assembling that, the farmer, Farmer Goody, Fuzzytail, shares with you what's been going on. She says, this is my husband, Farmer, and this is our farm. We've been attacked during the night 3 times this week, and each attack gets worse. They've pulled up crops, smashed our candy pumpkins for Lairs Night, and painted a big skull on the barn. Our foreman, his name is Skarn, she points him out, and you see a big, burly Herringon kind of leading the various farmhands. Our foreman Skarn, he posted guards, but they caught nothing. We can't enter any new food contracts until this is stopped. We might even, and then Farmer Fuzzytail chimes in, we're not even be able to make payroll. This is terrible. And then Goody looks at you, Galindel, and says, can you help us? Galindel.
I can.
Well,
or at least I will.
We don't know where it's coming from, but maybe you could talk to Skarn and see if the guards saw anything. And you're free to look all around the farm and see if you can figure out what's been doing this to us. So while you two are having that conversation, let's go to Little Red. So Little Red, you're trying to put together goats. You got one put together. You can keep putting together goats. Looks like you're getting in the good graces of the Herringon there. She's appreciative of the help, but there's lots to put together. So you want to try another one?
Is there anything that looks like it might require a feat of strength versus a lucky roll of dexterity?
There's not right now, no.
Okay, I will try to reassemble another one.
Okay.
Hopefully I've got better with it. So I'll ask the tomboy girl if she knows anything, right? I've kind of because I got big floppy ears. I overheard the whole conversation across the way, but I ask her if she has a take on it. Maybe is her story any different?
She nods, but then she redirects you to try and get the rabbits put together. You mess one up pretty terribly, and she shakes her head and takes it away from you and puts it together herself, and then hands you another one to help with. You want to try again?
I'd love to.
Okay.
So I get an inspiration, right?
Yeah, you can use inspiration if you want.
Yeah, I will definitely use inspiration because I just don't want to get it. I just feel like if I put the head on the wrong end, it's
You're
disaster.
1-1 right now with these guys. Now, inspiration helped you. DC was 10, so you're good. So now you're 2-1. And she's nodding again appreciatively, hands you another one to put together. You think you might need 3 out of 5 on this.
Oh, okay. So what am I at? At 1 failure, 2?
You're 2-1 right now, yep.
All right. Nope.
Oh,
there we go.
There you go. As you are putting together the goats with Ellis and Fuzzytail, she shares with you what she knows. She thinks that the farm's been cursed by the ghost of the Sour Patch Witch, which lures people into the marsh, and she kind of looks over her shoulder towards that lower ground there where the trees are overgrown and it's dark. She turns them into bats and rats and spiders, she says. At least that's what Skarn told me. And Skarn's that big burly farmhand foreman. I'm worried I did something to anger the ghosts, though. After the first attack, I tied one of the chocolate truffle chickens to a tree in the northeast corner of the property to appease the ghost, but I forgot that it only wants people. Though the chicken was gone too, so maybe the ghost also eats chocolate? Everyone loves chocolate, right? Also, buttermilk, she's gone. She's our prized nanny goat, and she's missing. Oh, farmer's going to be so mad at me. And before you go, Ella points out the damage to the crops and the side of the barn that she washed off after the second attack. So we'll get back to you in a little bit. Now we're going to go back to Akak. What do you want to do, Akak?
So these clumps of marshmallow goats, they're just kind of just laying around randomly.
Strewn all over, yeah.
Strewn all over,
Yeah. He is going to try and move one with his force gun.
Yeah, you certainly can. The force gun, it's easy to push him around with.
But he can only move it 5 feet around, 5 feet at a time.
Right. So you're trying to gather the pieces together?
Yes.
Okay. So the various farm hands nod appreciatively as they gather the pieces that you're putting together. Back to Galandan and Derek. So what do you guys want to do?
Well, I accept back the hanky from the farmer, if he's done with it.
He is.
And I say, farms, they grow on the sweat of the farmers and their tears. And I look at the jack-o'-lantern that he's weeping over, and I wring out his hanky over the jack-o'-lantern and attempt to reassemble it.
Okay.
The farmer's tears. Because, well, this is all I know about farms. I'm a sailor.
Okay, it doesn't seem to have any effect, unfortunately.
Oh, last.
Galandan.
How does
Galendon would go over to Skarn to ask him about what he knows.
Okay, so Skarn is the foreman, and all the farm hands are kind of working in the fields. Getting over to the fields, you see that there's been a lot of damage done here to the various crops. There is licorice whip crops, candy pumpkins, wrapped hard strawberry candies, and all the fields have been vandalized with many crops torn up. Skarn is the foreman. He's a hard-looking bunny with huge fuzzy muscles and a black eye patch over one eye. He gruffly says, "I'd be happy to talk to you to help. You here to try and put this right?"
I hope to. What can you tell me?
Well, this farm's probably cursed. I posted 2 guards here, but whatever it was stuck past them. To be honest, there's an even chance the guards just fell asleep, though, so I don't know. But the farmer that the Fuzzy Tails bought the property from went out of business after a string of bad luck from bandits and the like. But really the problem was the witch of the Sour Patch Marsh, I tell you. She would lure people into the marsh and turn them into little creepy crawlies, unless you gave her what she'd like to eat, bats and rats and swamp weeds. The witch is supposed to be dead, but I don't think she is. It's said she can't stay dead, and she's a ghost now. She's come back to harm the Fuzzy Tails, I'm afraid. There's an old trail that leads to the ruin of the witch's hut, and he points to a trail into the dark trees to the east. Let's see, back
close enough to overhear that?
Yeah, you all heard that, yeah.
Insight check.
Let's see here. Insight-wise, let me tell you what you guys all figure out. Yeah, you don't really pick up anything, Derek's. Others may have. And then perception check.
Yes.
Derek's, you do pick up something with your perception. I whispered it to you so you can see it, and someone else may have as well.
Can I ask? I'll ask Skarn. Where do you and your farmhands hail from?
Well, that's a long story, but not really pertinent to what we're doing here. Maybe you should head on into that forest and see if you can find out what happened to that witch.
I want to use my try to use my Fey presence.
Oh, okay.
To charm him.
Okay. Wisdom saving throw negates. So I'm just going to roll straight d20 from his wisdom saving throw. He got a 13. So he resists your Fey charm. And he looks at you and he kind of backs away and says, I don't have anything more to say to you. Now let's go back to Derek's. Derek's, you wanted to do something? Your perception revealed something to you. And is there anything else you want to do?
I served on a crew very much like these fellows, only they were human-ish. Is there a weaker one? A one who doesn't look as intimidating or resistant or, tough?
Yeah.
Uninfluenceable.
Yeah, there's some of those around.
I wander over to them and pretend to help out, and I clear my throat and say, when we go to look after the witch, it would be a shame if anything untoward had happened to the innocent people of this farm in our absence. It would not go well. And I do my Derek's the Delighter look on my face with the turtle red tattoo fire coming out of my claws thing. Not
So
well at all.
You're trying to intimidate him to make sure he
I'm trying
doesn't
to
harm
intimidate
the
him to get the message to not harm the farm folk.
Go to make a intimidation. That'd be a charisma check with advantage. So click your token and then click the CH16 button. And since you have advantage, we'll take the higher of the two numbers that's shown.
CH16.
Okay, so that's a 23 for your intimidation check. And this rabbit, if Herringon could sweat, this one's sweating. And his wide rabbit eyes and his nose is twitching. And he's kind of looking at Skarn, and Skarn is looking at him. And Skarn says, we don't want any trouble. We just want to help you guys out. Help find out what's causing this. Back to Little Red. What do you want to do, Little Red?
So two things. First, how high is the skull? Was it painted pretty high on the barn, or was it low? Or
it's low enough that you can reach it on your tiptoes. The top of it, all of it's in reach. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, and then I'll put that in my folder in my mind. And then the way that the crops are pulled up, is there anything unusual about the way they're pulled up? Like, are they pulled up, or are they pulled from the bottom, or are they pulled?
Make a investigation check. That's intelligence.
All right, I'm trying to pick things that are my lowest abilities.
Okay, you don't see any pattern to the attack.
Okay.
You do notice that the farmhands have walked all over the fields, probably destroying any tracks there might have been.
Of course.
Okay, Ack. What do you want to do?
So if Ack is done corralling the marshmallow floofs, he is going to make his way towards the far side of the farm, close to the forest, and he's just gonna look around there and do a bunch of combat rolls and diving into stuff and this kind of stuff. And
Okay.
and just waving his little handgun around.
Okay. Let's see here. So you're kind of on the perimeter of the farm here. Everywhere around is level grassland except where the property gently slopes toward the east. To the east is a swampy forested area where thick trees and overgrowth cast deep shadows. Akak, while you're over there doing your combat drills, make a perception check for me. So click your token and click the W11 button for you.
I'm not getting my add-ons popping up.
Let's see here. If you just click your token, you might have to reload if you've been here for a while. You should see a bar across the top. Do you see anything across the top when you click your token? The very top of the screen?
Nope.
The very top of the screen.
Nope.
Okay, go ahead and reload.
So,
But before you do, please roll a straight D20 for me. Using the menu on the left. You rolling the D20? Or are you reloading?
No, I'm actually trying to roll and I'm not getting the commands right.
So on the bar to the left, you're looking for one that looks like a 20-sided die. And when you hover over it...
I'll do that instead.
When you hover over the... You'll get a little block of buttons, and there's one that's a D20, and you just click on that. There you go. Okay, with a 12 on your perception, and your modifier for perception is... You're trained, so that's a 14 total on your roll, which means you notice something. You spy some scuff marks and some broken branches in the trees, and it's a trail leading through the trees into the swamp, and not on the ground level, but actually, branchiating from branch to branch. All right, Akak, good job. Found that. While you're doing that, let's go to Galindel. Go ahead, Galindel.
So Galinden's going to look around and see if there's any of the farm hands who maybe look a little bit slower than the others mentally.
Yeah.
Someone who had finding that one, he's going to go over and kind of ask them. So tell me, what brings you to work? What brought you to work here?
Make your choice of persuasion or deception check.
Deception. So I'm going to tell him, man, this brings back memories, Tom, of needing to lie when I try to convince someone. I'm going to tell him that, hey, Skarn sent me over here. He said that you were his most trustworthy farmhand, and that you would also know how to spin a good story. You could tell me the tale of your travels, what brought you here, where you came from. And that's going to be a 17.
Nice. Okay. He starts to spill the beans about these farmhands. It seems that they were once a band of bandits. They were the Bloody Bonbons was their name. And Farmer Fuzzytail was their leader. They were a Harangon Bandit Fluffle, which is a group of wild rabbits. But they grew tired of that life, or at least Farmer Fuzzytail did, and looking for an exit, he leaped at the chance to retire and become an actual farmer. So his despair now might be both that the farm's not going well, but also that he might have to go back to a life of crime if it isn't fixed.
Is there any members of his band who were not happy with the change in lifestyle?
At about that time, Skarn catches his eye, and he shuts up.
Say no more.
Okay, Derek's, what do you want to do?
Well, it looks like the squidling has found something interesting.
Yes, squiddling.
I think we should follow the wisdom of the squidling artificer
Okay.
and investigate together. And I stand up straight and tall from helping with the farm and say, Farmer Goody, farmer, you are in good hands. We will investigate this witch of yours. And if we live, we will come back with good tidings.
He is happy that you're helping. He laments about the disaster that has befallen his farm, and he hopes you can save him. Little Red, do you want to join them?
Absolutely.
And Glindan, do you want to join him?
Yes.
Okay.
And as soon as we are out of the earshot of the others, I'll let them know that I think that my theory is that Skarn is actually doing this to force Farmer Fuzzytail to go back to his life of banditry.
Good theory.
Mutinies are terrible.
So the trail heads on into a dark, foreboding forest.
Can anyone see in the dark?
Trees therein creak. Something out of sight rustles through the reeds. Fog swirls and weird sounds echo. The land is spongy and wet. Water drips from overhead while bugs bite. Broken branches parallel a path that leads past an old graveyard. So, here's the graveyard.
Does the graveyard look informative?
Okay, so you're traveling into the forest about here, coming out to where you can see the graveyard. You guys can decide what marching order you want to have. Who's your best, like, Outlander type character? Best with survival and stuff like that. And or a rogue who could find traps for you.
I'm a survival kind of guy.
Lyndon would offer to lead everyone, but since he lost a sense of direction, you probably wouldn't want to follow him.
So
Little Red will go on the front.
Little Red's got
I'm a decent investigator.
Little Red's the best survivalist.
And Red looks like I will help or action him.
Okay. Okay, so as you guys are traveling around the corner here, you see this graveyard up ahead. The path that is going through the trees and paralleling the path that you're walking on continues on. It does not seem to go into the graveyard. The graveyard that you see...
Dark enough that lighting the torch will help.
You see broken gravestones struggle to stay above the mire. The crumbled ruins of an old church hides in the overgrowth past the gravestones. So do you want to check that out or continue down the path following the...
Always check out.
That would be where a ghost would be, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I mean... Graveyard.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Want to cast any spells before you go check it out?
I want this light torch.
Galinden always has mage armor on.
Got it. Torch is lit.
And Galinden will be a little bit off the side because he has dark vision, too.
Okay. But your lead guy
will touch a rune and fire up his goggles of night so he has dark vision.
Nice. All right, guys. Put your lead character about where I put Little Red, and then the rest of you marching behind him.
Oh. Can you center us?
Bet.
Or maybe I need to refresh.
You might need to reload, yeah.
I'm on the starting screen.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, me too.
That's why no one's tokens is working. Shoot, sorry, guys. Here you go.
Oops.
Oh, there. Voila.
I see a blank screen. I see a house, an apiary.
Can I be off this far to the side of Little Red?
Yeah. As you're moving in towards the ruins are up here, past the gravestones.
Is it dark? It is dark out then.
It's really dark in the forest, but it's not dark outside yet.
Okay, I probably
you can see it's dim light everywhere. You can see.
Oh,
I hand was it Little Red a torch, and I flick it with my fingertip, and where the claw makes contact, it bursts into flame.
Oh wow! Well,
Okay, guys. As you're moving up through the gravestones, you hear some rocks clatter to the ground, and then you see a gaunt gray figure reach a hand up over the wall, and you see his claws are long and sharp, and he begins moving toward you. You can feel the death emanating off of him. So everyone roll initiative. So click your token, and you're looking for an IN button. Be an IN plus something normally, or IN minus if you're negative initiative. Click your token, then click that button. Oh, and I'm going to have to get rid of the double initiatives here.
That works, yes.
It's gone. That one. Okay, so the 4 of you all rolled initiative. That's good. These 2 forms that are rising out of the graveyard move quickly, but not as fast as Little Red jumps to attack. Or they're jumping to attack both Little Red and Ak, and you're first, Little Red. What do you want to do?
All right, I will, because I have no spells, I will take a step forward, and no, I will take a step diagonal in front of Ak, and then I will attack with my glaive. So it's got a 10-foot reach, so I will stay at that distance. Well,
So for everyone's reference, I ask that you guys do the announcing of what your attacks are and what your damage is. And that way I know when you've announced it, you're done. Like Little Red, you would say, I hit armor class 14 with my glaive for 12 points of slashing damage.
was I on mute?
You might have been on mute.
Oh, 'cause that's what I did. I said 14 for 12?
Got it.
Sorry.
All right. So that wounds him
the
badly.
dog's barking, so I apologize.
What else, Little Red?
That'll be it.
Okay, then the ghoul's turn. The first of the 2 ghouls is the one in the back. It moves around Little Red's flank, right into the midst of the party. You can smell the carnal stench of the thing as it approaches all of you. And it starts lashing out with these long talons. Ak, you're the target of it. 21 to hit you, Ak. If that hits, you take 8 points of slashing damage. You need to make a con save, DC 10, or be paralyzed. So click your token, click the green circle with the 21 in it, and type -8 and hit enter. That'll update your hit points for you. So click your token, click the green circle with the 21, type -8 and hit enter. And then click your token, and you're going to look for the C12 button. But before you click it, do you want to use your inspiration? That would give you advantage if you wanted to use your inspiration. You might have been muted while you're talking, or I might have my volume down. I'm not sure what.
Yeah, that works. Con check 20.
So you did use your inspiration?
With advantage.
Okay.
Yes, I did. Sorry.
All right. So you just remove your inspiration, which I just did for you, and you resist as your muscles start to like cramp up. Extreme pain rolls through your body, but you resist it. And then Galindan, your turn. You might be muted too.
I am. Hex, and then Eldritch Blast it. That's going to be a 22 for 11.
Nice. 22, 11, force necro. The thing takes all of the necro damage and force damage, so 11 damage. After Galindan is Derek's.
Okay, I attempt to booming bonus action Hex.
Nice.
Action booming blade with my Ikloa, my harpoon.
Okay.
And
So click your token. You're looking for Ikloa. It'll say Ikloa -10 feet /30 feet. And it'll be amongst your attacks. So you click that. And then if it's a hit, you can also click your booming blade to see what else your booming blade does.
that.
So you hit armor class 13, which is a hit. You did 7 piercing and 2 necrotic, and if you want to add your Genie's Wrath, you can do 2 more fire.
I do want to add my Genie's Wrath for 2 more
So
fire.
that's 11 points of damage total, and that finished it. So your booming blade doesn't
Job.
come into play. Nicely done, Derek's. And then after your attack, you can move your speed if you want to go somewhere.
I do want to move my speed somewhere. I noticed that the ghoul that it hasn't moved yet seems to have some shelter.
Yep.
So I'd like to move my speed across to get. Now, that thing in the middle that looks like a lozenge with a sword on top of it, is that very high level, or is that...
It's about 4 feet above the mire.
Okay, so I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Does that get me a line of sight with the ghoul?
Definitely. Furthermore, it gets you line of sight on a second ghoul that had been hiding back here.
Nice. And I can't move my hex until my next action.
Correct, yeah.
Then I have moved, bonus actioned, and actioned.
After you is the ghoul you saw to begin with.
Can I speak to the party to warn them of the second ghoul?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, I'm not done.
That ghoul leaps over the low wall, little red, right in your face, and claws at you, trying to get through your rabbit fur. 18 to hit for 9 slashing. And DC 10 con save or be paralyzed. Your 10 con save just
10.
makes it thanks to your fighting proficiencies. Next comes Ack.
Ack is going to move back 5 feet to here and fire off a force cannon at this ghoul.
Go for it. So you click your token, you're looking for LC-force-120 feet. 22 nails that ghoul.
20 to hit.
10 points of force damage obliterates it, knocks it back into the wall, and it crumbles to the ground in front of Little Red. That was... Is that an action to shoot that thing? That was a bonus for some reason.
Should be an action.
Okay. Finish your move where you want. Ack. While you're finishing your move,
yeah, that's it for me.
I'll start the ghoul's turn. Okay, so the ghoul that was in hiding comes rushing out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. With alarming speed, Derek's, it closes ground on you, lashes out with its claws. Gets a 13, which just glances off your tortoise shell, doing no damage to you, and that round's over. And Little Red, your turn.
I will move. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you. Yep.
Oh, no, that's not what I want to do. Back here. I want to go here. 20 feet. And I will attack. Likely. I will bonus action use my fighting spirit.
Nice.
And glaive. So 16 for 8.
Nice. And you can add 5 temp hit points to your token too.
Oh, yeah.
All right, after Little Red is Galindan. Your turn, Galindan.
Bonus action, move my hex to that ghoul and Eldritch Blast. 15 for 16.
Oh, wow, you blow it up. Ghoul parts spray all over you, Derek's. The 3 undead lie motionless amongst the gravestones, leaving you to explore this place. You find nothing here, nothing of note. No tracks, no treasure, no traps. You could camp here for a little bit, take a short rest if you like, or you could press on.
I always love a short rest.
Let's do a vote for short rest. So the 4 of you are lined up right now. If you want to do a short rest, move your token 1 square up. If you want to press forward, move your token 1 square down. And if you don't care, stay in the middle.
Do we get a potion of healing with this?
You don't, no.
Okay. All right. Yes,
Okay,
I'll
so you
take
guys
a short
vote
rest.
for a short rest. And during your short rest, you can spend hit dice. To do that, I'll do an example, and then you can do it on your own. For Ack, for you to spend hit dice, you click your token. There's the second button on the top left that says A16H21. If If you click it, it rolls all your hit dice. So in this instance, you would have got a 3 and a 3 and a 3, but you can do your own roll, not mine. And you only have to use as many of those as you want. So like Little Red here, he can use that 8 hit points and stop and save the other 2 hit dice for later. And if you use the other 2 later, you'll re-roll the roll. So Little Red's all healed up. Galindan's good. Derek's is good. Ack. Do you want to spend any hit dice?
Yeah.
So click your token and click the A16 button. It should be the second one from the top left. As long as you have alphabetically sort token actions unchecked. There you go. So you got a 3 on the first die you rolled, giving you a 16 out of 21. Then you can take the 5 if you like and get you 21 out of 21 and save the last hit die.
Yeah, I'm going to save the last hit die.
Got it.
So I'll just spend the first 2.
So after you finish your short rest, the trail continues on into this dark, dank forest. Any spells before you press forward?
No, but I light up another torch as an hour of rest will burn up a torch.
All right.
And I hand one to Little Red
See,
as well.
So you begin traveling through this forest. There's an odd, like, standing stone you come across, but you search it and find no markings or anything secreted away or anything.
So my handgun is gone because we spent an hour and only stays up for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fine.
Okay. And then you come ahead to something strange. Let's get your marching order. Lead person about where I put Little Red. The rest of you behind Little Red where you want to be. You notice that in the trees, the broken branches you still see now and then. Also, you're seeing more and more signs of webs in the trees. And I'm going to back you up a little bit, Galadan. Oh, you went back already on your own. Okay. You see these webs kind of growing in thickness in the trees. And then up ahead, a small green light flares to life, cutting through the mist and darkness. The flickering light illuminates stone dwellings dug into low hills. The light comes from inside the far dwelling where the door is slightly ajar. Yeah, draw the rest of what you see here. The far stone dwelling where the light is coming from and the door is slightly ajar is this one here. There's 2 more stone dwellings closer to you, here and here, where the doors are shut and there's no light. There's also a stone chimney-like thing with like a capstone on top of it right over here. What do you want to do, Little Red?
So I will advance forward, but I'm going to be mindful that there might be things hiding,
Okay.
especially with all these spiders.
Right.
So maybe there's like a natural Y there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll move to the center of that natural Y.
Okay. You can see to the left, a path branches off. There's like a couple of gravestones in a clearing. To the right is all these dwellings. Doors shut for the 2 by you. Doors slightly ajar for this one. Green light spilling out of it. Stone with a top on it over here. You want to proceed to any of those locations and check them out?
Yeah, so I'm not going to be too threatening, but I'm not obviously going to stow my glaive. But where do you put a 10-foot glaive? So I walk to the dwelling with the door slightly ajar.
Okay. As Little
Reminds me
Red,
of a classic line from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Bend over and I'll show you.
That was just on this weekend, and I don't think they have that line in the version I watched. Okay, put everyone else where you want to be as Little Red goes up to the open doorway. Little Red, you get to the open doorway and you look inside, and you see inside there
Have we heard any noises, by the way?
No noises.
Quiet.
Too quiet. Okay. You see inside there, Little Red, dried jerky and herbs twisted into humanoid shapes hanging from the rafters. There's a hammock hanging to one side over a battered trunk. A green flame burns on a thick candle on a table. A pot bubbles with fresh stew on a pot-bellied stove. While Little Red does that, any of you three in the back want to do any spells or anything, or you want to just follow behind Little Red?
Speak a sort of, it's not an invocation so much as a reminder. In the Feywild, laws of comity and hospitality rule. I'm always full of pithy sayings. And I draw out a little bit of Theki root and offer it to Gellandon beside me.
No thanks.
Oh. I put it on my beak, but I don't chew it. Sort of like a little cigarillo.
Little Red, what do you want to do?
I'll just I'll see if anybody's in there. I will say, hey,
No answer.
Good
No
good
answer.
evening. Looking for a witch.
No answer.
Is it too small for me to go in?
You can go in. Yeah, you can fit in easily. Inside, it's so it's like built into the side of a low hill, and inside it's pretty big actually. Just put an outline there. Those black lines are the inside of that. So to your right is a hammock. There's a trunk below the hammock. To your left is the table with the thick green candle.
Mhm.
And next to the table is a pot-bellied stove with a pot of fresh stew bubbling on it. So you go inside to check that stuff out. You see no one in there. Do any of the other three want to join them?
Yeah.
Go to the doorway.
Belinda will go in.
Go ahead and go wherever you want to go. If you're going in there to search, go to make a let's see, either an intelligence check or a wisdom check, your choice, whichever you think you're better at. So click your token. There you go. Little Red's got it. Big 9 for perception for Little Red. Galindan got a big 7 for investigation.
Before too many
Derek's,
cracks,
where do you want to be standing at?
before too many cracks get made, I want to look around and using my survival skill. I'm nowhere near the Little Red level, but I want to see if there are any tracks that tell me the tale of this location.
Okay, make a survival check. So click your token, click the W10 button.
W10.
So you got a 15 survival. The tracks that you've been following that were going through the trees have not continued into this clearing. So you might need to backtrack back to the last place you saw him, which was basically right about here, to see if you can pick that trail back up. Otherwise, the tracks around the mud or the stone dwellings, the only thing you find is like the tracks of a cat, a small cat, like a regular size house cat. While you're doing that, what do you want to be doing?
So Ak was pretty much watching everybody's back. So he's mainly focusing, around here, and he's gonna be backing up a little bit.
Okay.
To here.
Okay. Ak is the first to see when all the rest of you hear a mad cackling sound as you're searching through the inside of this dwelling, Galindan and Little Red. You find that there's a finger bobbing in the stew. You haven't had a chance to start searching through the trunk yet. When you hear a mad cackling sound in Ak, you turn to look and you see through the branches, the gnarled, twisted branches in that clearing, it kind of starts to glow a little bit. and there's some incorporeal forms in there, and they seem to seep out of the gravestones. They're old, haggard-looking women in black robes. One out of each of these gravestones rises up. And then out of the two smaller gravestones, two black cats come out. And then at the same time, from the tangled undergrowth to your right, a not incorporeal black cat appears. So this black cat looks like a normal, regular black cat. Everything in this clearing looks to be slightly incorporeal. You can see through him a little bit. And the hags are cackling madly. And the lead one levels a finger to start casting a spell at you guys. Go and roll initiative, everyone.
Yeah, I think at level 2 shouldn't have any problem with the Coven of Hags.
No way. Should be easy.
Coven of Undead Hags.
Okay, Glindan, you are first to go. The hags are casting spells. The lead one levels a finger, and you see a sickly green ray shooting out toward Ak. But you get to the jump on her. You can see her through the opening in the dwelling that you're looking in. The dwelling that you're looking in, it's still got the hammock, the battered trunk, the candle, and the potbelly stove with the stew.
Well, Galindan's not going to let a friend face these witches alone, so he is going to move up here to the entrance and cast Hex on the one who's is it the closest one casting the spell?
Yep.
All right. Hex and then Eldritch Blaster, and says and yells out, "You, we did not intend for violence, but your hostile actions will be met in kind." It's going to be a 15 for 7.
15. That's a hit. 7 force and necrotic. Seem to have full effect. All right. Now, the first of the witches. That one. Levels are green. Her finger at Ak. A green ray shoots out. This is a ray of sickness. 12 on the spell attack does not hit you, Ak. You dodge out of the way of that.
Nope.
And then the witch moves forward, and she looks like startled for a second. Ak and Derek's make a insight check, each of you. So click your token and click the W11 or W10 button for a wisdom insight check. You're oblivious to it, Derek. Ak, though, you can see that the witch, the ghostly witch, is surprised to see that cat there. And it's almost like she is seeing a long-lost pet. The cat that I'm referring to being the one behind you, right over here. The witch is done. Oh, actually, she moved forward. She saw that. She moves over to here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Can't go any further because of the undergrowth. Actually, I should go here 5. Provoking from you, Ak. If you want to take an attack of opportunity, you can.
Don't have Warcaster, so I can't really do anything spell-wise. And that's all that he really uses.
Okay.
So
She scoops up the black cat in her arms lovingly. She's done. Little Red, your turn.
I will take my full movement out here. Would I see that it's the witch is not hostile anymore?
You don't know that she's not hostile, but she's certainly happy that she found her cat.
All right, so that was 20, 25, 30. I'm going to try to get on this side and see if these other two advance. So I'll hold my action to strike if they come aggressively within 10 feet.
Okay. Little Red's holding readied. Then the first switch goes. The switch. 1, 2, 3 comes to here. Levels a finger at you, but holds off on casting any spell. Actually, she does cast a spell. She casts Ray of Frost, but holds it. So she's readied with Ray of Frost. And then Derek's your turn.
Derek sees that they are holding action after initially attacking, steps to a neutral location, directs his weapon away from them, and says, "Parley, ladies."
Okay, assuming none of you take
That's
any more
good.
hostile actions, they all basically move to be readied. You all move to be readied. If hostilities erupt again, we'll roll initiative since you're all readied. And the switch takes her cat and starts making her way back to her gravestone. And as she does, the other two witches go back to their gravestones. And then the switch disappears, but the cat does not. These two cats also disappear. So the two cats that were ghostly are gone. The 3 witches are all gone. But the last cat is still there.
Tells a tale.
That cat, as the last witch disappears, as the last demon disappears, the cat begins to morph in shape and takes on the form of like a humanoid creature with horns protruding out of it, or a horn protruding out of it. Where'd it go? Here we go. Sorry. Okay. And then wings fold out and it starts flapping its wings and rising up into the air. And you see it's like a little diabolical humanoid. And do you guys want to do anything when that happens or let it fly up into the sky?
I'll try to talk to it
Okay.
in common. And
It's not stopping to talk. It's leaving.
hmm.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot it.
Okay. Roll initiative, everyone.
That beats will pay. Okay.
Everyone roll initiative, and then roll its initiative. There we go. Got everyone. And who said they were shooting it?
Ack, ack, ack.
Ack, ack, ack. Okay. So the thing starts to fly up. Then ack, ack, ack raises its pistol to fire. The thing veers.
It's not the pistol. No, the pistol got consumed during the short rest.
Oh.
So he's using his Tinker's focus, which is like shears,
Okay.
and he's going to cast Fireball through it.
Got it. The thing veers and whirls around, comes down to your level, ack, 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 and tries to lay a stinger into you. But a 9 misses you, and then Its speed is 40. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Then flies up into the air away from you, to about 20 feet above. Still within range of your ranged attacks. And
Do I get a attack of opportunity?
no, because it came around. It was out over here and went
Oh.
to. Oh, you have a pike. Sorry, or a halberd.
You
do.
Glaive.
You do get an attack of opportunity. Go ahead.
Yes. 13 for 11.
13 is a hit. It only takes half of that damage. It takes 5 points damage. Its hide seems to resist your weapon's damage. Flies up to 20 feet above the ground. And then Derek's your turn.
Harley will pay for information or shoot you down. And I ready an Eldritch Blast.
Got it. Ack.
Since this thing attacked me, I'm going to attack it with Firebolt.
Did I say that wrong? I meant hold an Eldritch Blast.
You're good. Yeah, Derek, so you're good. 12 on your firebolt. That flies past the thing, missing him. After ack.
Yep. And I'm just going to stay here.
Little
Stay where
Red,
I'm
your
at.
turn.
Even though, even though it's an issue with it not doing full damage, I will kind of hold on to the glaive with my leg, take out my 2 hand axes, and toss each of them at the imp.
Fire away.
18 for 7.
You connect for 3.
25 for 15.
Would your second hand axe only get 3 less damage than that? Because you don't get your strength modifier. If you're using offhand, you don't get your modifier unless you have dual.
Well,
modifier.
actually, do you even get strength if you're throwing it?
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
But
So it will.
even then, that is enough with your offhand to
Oh.
hit that thing and take it out of the sky. Dead. It reverts back to no, it stays in that form, and then it kind of starts to sink into the mire and change into just a black tarry ooze and merge back with the mire of the swamp. So
How was our?
they are gone. You are left.
They weren't much of a conversation.
No, you're left to search the dwellings if you like. There's 3 of them. There's also that stone chimney with the cap over the top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take the far
Searchable.
one.
One of us is really strong, aren't they?
I am kind of strong.
If they want to help me lift the cap off the chimney, I'll first investigate for anything that's
Okay.
looks trappish.
Okay. No trappishness on the chimney.
And I'll try to help.
You hear kind of like a faint susurrus sound, like there's something moving around inside it. Kind of deeper in the ground. Multiple things, like lots of things.
Oh, well, in that case, no.
Do you want to open the chimney?
No.
Okay. This is what you find in the other dwellings. Let's see here. So inside the dark hut, I already told you. Oh, these are the dark huts. So the 2 huts that you pass by. They are dusty, and the stoves they're in are cold. No one's been in either of those 2 huts for a long, long time. The trunks in those 2 huts are empty. The trunk in the hut that had the stew boiling is not empty. It has all sorts of clothing. And the deeper you go in the trunk, the older the clothing gets. But then buried in the deepest part of the trunk is a very old sailor suit, which has golden buttons on it worth 90 gold. So you're able to take that. The stew seems fresh and edible,
Except
but
for the
its
finger.
contents are humanoid. Yeah.
Oh.
So that's all you find in the 3 huts.
The candle's nothing special about the candle, though.
There's nothing else special about anything.
I just take
Does
it,
anyone
though.
have detect magic? Does anyone want to cast detect magic?
I do as a ritual, I believe.
Well, while you're
I'm up for waiting for the ritual.
while you're
Yeah.
I have an idea about the soup.
So while you're ritualizing that, you backtrack and find the tracks for the creature you've been following that's been going through the trees, and it comes out of the trees like right about here. And the tracks go along the ground through this clearing and through a narrow trail that heads deeper into the forest, and the tracks stay on the ground now. The tracks are about humanoid in size, but they have strange clawed feet. Not a creature any of you have tracked before. The claws are strange in that there's like only two main claws. Reminds you a little bit of like a spider's tracks.
Interesting.
Anyone trained in survival, go to make a survival check.
I will.
Survival check is
Wisdom. Make a wisdom survival check. All of you can. I'll be able to tell who's trained and not. Most of you are. So Little Red, with your 22 survival, not only are there tracks of a humanoid creature with spider-like claws, about maybe 300 pounds in weight, there's also the tracks of an actual giant spider. Probably this thing is the size of a horse or bigger. It mostly stays in the trees and doesn't break the branches like the other creature does. So that trail leads off this direction.
I'll relay that to my compatriots.
I have two choices. Run. No, I mean, boil the soup and pour it down the chimney and then go after the spiders. Or go after the spiders.
While you guys are thinking about that, let's take a quick break. Let's see, it's 17 after, so we'll take the break until 27 after. Okay, I'm back.
Excellent.
Okay.
So, to recap, you guys have these stone dwellings that you've explored. You have this stone chimney with a stone cap on it, something inside, a trail of a spider and a humanoid creature like a spider heading deeper into the woods. What do you want to do?
Has my detect magic ritual finished?
Yes. So your detect magic detects on the hut with the stew and the burning candle. The whole hut interior radiates conjuration magic. Not concentrated on any specific location, but just the whole inside.
Interesting. Either the hut or just something in the hut. Possibly.
Well, we could take things out of the hut one by one and see if it changes.
Doing that does reveal it's basically the inside volume of the hut. You take the candle out and it snuffs out. You take the stew out, it's still stew. You can't really take the potbelly iron stove out until it cools down quite a bit. But you feel like it's the inside interior of the hut, some sort of magical conjuration there, which might explain the light coming on automatically when you got close and the stew boiling even though there's no one around.
It's like an abode for a supernatural being.
It's like an Alexa or something like that, or a Siri, you know.
Yeah.
So now that we have the soup out, it is human remains, yes?
It is, yeah. It's humanoid.
It would be a
remains.
shame not to find a way of interring those in the ground. And we do have that convenient chimney. And whatever it is that's skittering inside is likely no good. Does anyone feel like helping an old sailor perform a burial at swamp?
Yep, we'll do it. I'll pry the top off and let him pour it down.
Okay, put you guys where you want to be when you pry that top off. And
Okay.
then roll
Be careful
initiative.
be careful to set it so that if something starts to come out, you just drop the top. And, let me give you guys a little more room.
Everyone good?
You ready?
Okay. As you break the seal, so to speak, and you start to lift the thing off the edge or slide to the side a little bit, a stale air first comes out, and then all of a sudden, like an explosion, the top explodes into the air. You see the stone cartwheel through the air and into the trees, and then a geyser of bats shoots up out of the top of the chimney, and they keep coming and coming and coming. And so there's like this swarm of bats erupting up like a geyser out of this opening. We roll their initiative. All right. Derek's, what do you want to do?
I want to flip the pot of hot stew and cover the geyser with the pot.
All right. So you
And
throw the
hold it
pot.
down.
You throw the pot in there. That burns a whole bunch of the bats. So you see like 20, 30, 40 plus of them burn up,
Before I do that,
and they keep shooting up.
is it a swarm? Can I
Yeah.
hex it?
It is a swarm.
So I hex the swarm.
All right. You got it hexed. And after you is Little Rock. What do you want to do, Little Rock?
I will. I guess I'll swat them out of the air with my
Go for it.
glaive.
Make an attack
I
with your
guess.
glaive.
Yeah. 15 for 13.
13 seems to not have full effect on him, but it does do 6 damage.
All right.
Then the bat swarm. It attacks randomly. Okay, so it's mostly, and this is just more and more bats coming out. So it's not provoking really on the way. It's just coming straight out at Little Red. Little Red, you're swarmed all around by bats. The 13 doesn't get past your chainmail armor. And then Ack, your turn.
Let's see here. Ack is going to move up and to try and touch the swarm with Shocking Grasp.
Go for it. You hit it. You do 4 points of lightning damage. Getting a whole bunch of bats. There's just a few of them left in that swarm. Galindan, your turn.
All right, Galindan is going to bonus action move Hex to the bats and Eldritch Blast. But miss horribly.
Okay, and then the end of that round, more bats come streaming up and join the fray. This more bat swarm comes around Ack, biting at you, Ack, but don't hurt you. And then Derek's your turn. And you're muted if you're talking. You there, Rob? You're muted if you're talking.
Sorry, muted. Okay, so I see that the bats have been shot, some of them.
Yep.
I step over here. I booming blade them
Go for it.
with my Ichthua. Or I attempt to, anyway.
Armor class 20 for 7 destroys that swarm.
Okay. So I bonus action move the Hex to the other swarm.
Actually, you have to wait till the next round before you can do that.
Really? Okay. Is there any way that I can see to close up the chimney, by the way? And do I still hear more coming?
There's more coming. Yeah, it's like a geyser of bats, a non-stop geyser of bats coming out of the chimney.
Could my shell cover the top of the chimney?
Okay, let's see here. That'll be an action. Use your action already to attack. So someone else could. You're moving that direction, but it'll take an action to do it.
Okay, so I could move here so that I'm not adjacent to them yet, and I'm ready to block it with my shell defense.
Okay. You can't ready because you already attacked, but
Right,
you move to there and you're done. Next goes Little Red.
Moving on.
I will disglaive the bats that are around Akak. Try not to hit him.
Please don't.
17 for 11.
That's a hit, doing 5 damage to the bats. Then Akak, your turn.
I'm going to touch attack again with the Shocking Grasp.
It is a
Nope,
miss.
not that time.
Glindan, your turn.
Bonus action, move my hex, and try to Eldritch Blast. That's going to be a 13 for 16.
That hit. 16 force leaves with like only one bat. Then, starting the next round, another bat swarm joins the fray. This one will be in Derek's square. Add initiative. Okay, the new bat swarm attack in Derek's with all its bites. 18 to hit you, Derek's.
That will hit.
That does 6 piercing damage. So you click your token, click the green circle with the 11, then type -6, and then hit enter.
-6.
The other swarm basically continues on up into the sky, leaving you guys, but does provoke from Akak and Little Red if you guys want to take it.
No.
All right.
Can I?
Right. You can Akak. You want to?
I like I said, I only deal with spells,
no.
so the only thing
Okay.
I have is touch spell.
Derek's your turn.
Well, do I hear more of them coming up from below?
It's like non-stop guys are coming out of there.
And if I move onto it, that will not block it, but if I take the action to cover it, it will.
Yep.
And I'm hurt. Let's boom the swarm that is on me. And is it covering up the hole, making it more difficult for others to get out?
No. It's like a column of bats shooting up into the sky. Represented by me adding one swarm every round, basically.
I think we should probably run away, but I'm booming it.
Okay.
Instead. Did that hit?
19 hit, yes.
Yes, so I did say that I was going to move my hex.
Got it.
So it's hexed and boomed.
So 5 piercing, 4 necrotic. Do you want to add fire to it?
Oh, of course.
9, 10, 11 total damage. And then Booming Blade does nothing until it moves, right?
Right.
It'll do thunder damage when it moves. Okay. After you, Little Red.
So where did the rock fall?
It's over in the trees over here somewhere. You don't see it from where you're standing.
I wonder if we just run away, if they won't follow us. If the ones just went straight up in the air. What do you guys think?
That's my plan, but I'd really like it if they were Shocking Grasp so I could run away without taking a reaction.
Okay, yeah, because you're at 5 for 11. All right, I will glaive this bat swarm, and then not because I'm a coward, just because that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna move away. So 7 for 8.
Miss.
5, 10, 15, 20.
Akak, your turn.
Akak is going to move alongside here and Shocking Grasp the swarm of bats. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
23 for 3.
What else, Ack?
That is it for now.
All
I'm
right,
just
Galindo,
basically
your turn.
giving-
Glendon is not going to leave his friends, so he will just bonus action move. So I think this is a Dew Swarm. Hex to that one and Eldritch Blast.
I think the other swarm they let go, didn't they?
Oh, did they?
Therefore, your
Did that
hex
one?
is on that one. Yeah. So no more hexing.
Is that still within range?
No, it's gone. Into the trees and stuff. Okay, so your 14's a hit for 10 force damage. That obliterates that swarm. Then the end of the round, another swarm comes out. This one's an Ack square. And its initiative is 4. So, Derek, it's your turn.
Well, I can just drop my concentration, can't I? There's
Sure
no
can.
point.
There's no way of collapsing the chimney to knock it in.
Doesn't appear so. It looks pretty sturdy.
Okay. The big door on the hut is not going to work.
Nope, it's connected to that.
In that case, I will move without moving out of range. Does this allow me to still not be attack of opportunity? That pattern?
It's a different swarm, so they have their reaction.
Right. So I'm not trying to move away from their space.
So you
I'm
move to
just-
there successfully. Then what else do you want to do?
Skirting there. Okay, and I'm moving my hex as bonus action to them and hitting them with the Ikloa. Again, I hope. Did that
That
do
hit.
anything?
That hit. So you do 3 and 6 is 9, 10, 11, 12. Or no, 10, 11.
Plus fire, and they're boomed.
And you're into the booming blade. After you comes Little Red.
Guys, not.
Oh, and yeah, that's it. Sorry.
All right, I'm gonna go into the bushes and look for this top.
Okay, make a perception check.
That wisdom?
Yeah, wisdom perception. You find it.
18.
You find it. You have it in your hand.
All right, I'll pick it up.
After the rock, Ack, your turn.
Once again, shocking grasp on this new swarm. $16 for 2.
6, you mean? 6 damage. Got it.
Yeah, 16 for 6. Sorry.
Then what do you want to do after that?
I'm going to spend movement because this is getting us nowhere. So I'm going to move 30 feet away from this.
Okay, bats bite at you as you leave. They're at half hit points or less, so you only take 2 points of piercing damage from the attack of
Did he just
opportunity.
shock me?
And then, he did shocking grasp, never mind. And then,
Yep.
Bat Swarm's turn. See, there's no one in its square, so it flies away. Next round, another Bat Swarm, or no, Galadan, your turn. Well, you guys have kind of figured it out. Next round, Bat Swarm will start with no one adjacent to the chimney, and the geyser just keeps flying on up. And as long as you guys don't get next to it again, no bats ever attack you. They just fly on into the night sky. This column lasts for like a minute, just nonstop for a minute of bats flying up into the air. And then it stops. And you look and you see down in that hole a big giant underground cave. Exploring it, though, you don't find any exits out of it. And nothing but bat guano in it.
Label guano?
I guess I'll just drop the rock I'm holding.
Okay.
I thought guano was a material component for Fireball.
It is.
It is.
I'm collecting some.
Okay.
Um,
Get some. So now you've
if you want to
explored
take a short
everything
rest,
here. Yeah, you can if you
Yeah.
guys like. You guys want to do a short rest?
I don't have
So
healing.
I'm going to heal
Oh,
Trainix.
okay.
Darix. I've got cure wounds.
I would love that, but whoever's most wounded should get it.
I think it's you.
That
There you
would
go.
be lovely. So I'm back to full.
Fully healed. Yep.
I just
Okay,
say
so
plus.
I take it no short rest.
No, I was just
Nah.
doing Chris healing.
Okay. So you've explored everything here, and you have just the path deeper into the woods made by a
I
spider.
think we take it.
That leads you to this map over here.
What could go wrong?
Are we being stealthy?
I'm not really stealthy. I'm not bad at survival, but stealthy in this chainmail and the giant glaive that's probably clipping trees as we walk.
I could carry you. If you don't object to the indignity.
Oh,
All
sorry,
right.
what'd you say?
So the path comes to stony, web-covered hills in the heart of the
Oh.
marsh. You see to the right, no, actually, you see to the left. No, this is to the right. So you see to the right ruined pillars that are draped in webs and support cocoons of webbing wrapped around some unfortunate victims of giant spiders. So that's over here. To the left, you see a webbed cave mouth right here. Stairs ascend. A foul breeze emanates from within, causing strands of web to blow back and forth, like the cave is a giant breathing maw. There's a few small spiders skittering along the webs. What do you guys want to do?
We don't have
Which
fancy
one?
lights.
You can see, yeah, it's dim light. No problem. You also have torches lit if you like.
Well, I was thinking of seeing what comes out if we make a scene in front of the stairs. Throw a lit torch. See what happens.
Yeah. I mean, let's go over there. Unless anybody objects. So I'll move to here and see if with this vantage point, if I can see anything. Like I'm looking up in the trees to see if something's going to come down. I'm looking
Right.
to the side.
Yeah, nothing's
Okay.
moving except for spiders everywhere you look, but none of them monstrous in size.
So when I move up, is there a good angle cover from the stairs? One of these pillars, maybe? Box.
You could come over here and hunch down behind some of these broken down pillars.
Okay, so do I see any risk to moving over here by this clump of branches over what looks like a abandoned pit?
No?
So I do that, I can get some cover,
Yeah.
and I could throw a torch.
You don't know
To
how
say-
well you could. You probably want to get closer, like about here, to throw a torch in there.
Yeah. I don't really want the torch to go inside. I just want to see if anything reacts to the clattering of the torch. But I'm going to wait until the party's in position
Okay.
for whatever it is they want to
So
do.
you get to where you can throw the torch to the stairs? Is that your plan?
Yeah.
All right. So you get into position, you throw the torch to the stairs. Everyone get where you want to be when that's being done.
Good, Matt.
As you're moving into position, and Derek's is given the high sign that he's about to throw the torch, Little Red, you hear your rabbit ears pick up a high-pitched weeping sound coming from inside the cave.
Do you guys hear that weeping sound?
As you pointed out, the other members of your party can hear it. A really high-pitched weeping noise.
Oh. Does it have voice behind it, or is it
No,
maybe
it's
like a
not making
mimicry?
words. It's just sobbing.
Oh.
Which
Super
one for the
suspicious.
hanky?
Oh.
The hanky's dried by now.
So now
Switch
that you
from
know
horse.
that's happening, do you want to throw the torch still?
No, I want to advance with the hanky out
Okay.
and offer comfort
Okay.
towards the stairs.
So you get to the base of the stairs. You can hear the sound a little, closer. You see the gaping maw of the cave breathing in and out. As you're coming closer, all of a sudden there's a great blast of air comes out of the cave. All the webs flutter as if being pushed out of the cave, and then it stops. So it's just like one big brief gust. And then the rhythmic pulsing of air resumes. The weeping is still there, unchanged from before that big gust. And now you're standing at the base of the stairs.
I call out, Hanky?
No reply to that. You want to yell as loud as you can, try and get some response?
Does anyone object to me taking a step up and calling out Hanky again a little louder?
I will stay within 5 feet.
I will advance.
I will stay where I'm at.
Hanky?
The sobbing stops. You hear someone catching their breath, like they've been crying really, really hard, and they're having a hard time catching their breath. And let's see. Then you hear a voice, really high-pitched voice. I won't try and mimic it. I can't talk that high. It's even higher than you can imagine. And it says, "Who are you?"
I am called Dorks the Delighter. We have come to help. Do you need a hanky?
No, it says, as if it's offended. Leave me alone.
I do the, and I'll interject. Is it in common?
Speaking in common, yeah.
I'll interject. Are you the one that's messing with the marshmallow sheep or marshmallow goats in the barn and the crops? Is that you?
Who's
Is
asking?
there Little Red, the carny with the most? No, yeah. So it's just me. We're trying to figure out what's going on with the farm and what's going on with the swamp and how the swamp and the farm can live in harmony.
I don't know if my friends deserve harmony. They left me here.
Glendon's going to go up and say, I too know what it is like to have been left. My family was taken from me and left me alone. Perhaps I could be your friend. And then neither of us will be alone again.
With that, you see something moving through the webbing, getting kind of closer to you, and then you can make out a humanoid form. And it's carrying in its arms something. You want to let it get closer?
Yes.
Okay. It comes into view.
I'm still standing there idiotically with the hanky.
And it's holding its arms a goat. The thing looks like, I don't have a good picture, so actually maybe I do have a picture. There we go. It looks like a big, bloated, huge-bellied, purple-skinned humanoid with 2 giant claws in its feet and its hands, 8 eyes on its face, mandibles, and it's holding a goat in its arms. And there's tears streaming down all of its 8 eyes. And it says that I'm upset with my friends. They deserve what they're getting.
Who are your friends?
The bloody bonbons. We hunted the roads of the Feywild together, and they loved me because I could make traps with my webs. But then they all decided to give up crime and retire, and they left me alone in the marsh, and someone has to pay.
I'm sorry to hear that. Do you think that maybe we could work it out? Maybe they would welcome you to help at their farm. Would that be of interest to you?
Maybe.
I have a customer for confectionery. You say you make silk?
Yes, I make silk traps, and we lure people into them, and then we smash them over the head, and we take their stuff.
Can you make silk wrapping for confections?
Maybe.
My employer would likely pay extra for fancy silk wrapping. But if you're not interested.
No, maybe. Are you saying that Farmer would be nice to me?
Well, does Farmer like money?
Mm-hmm. He's a bandit.
Well, my employer wants to buy confections, the best and the most fancy and unusual. I think beautiful silk wrapping on marshmallows and licorice would pretty much corner the market. I can't speak for them, but it's the start of negotiation.
Well, if you think you can make Farmer see the light, I'll go with you.
Well, Liz, what do you think?
I think I can. I'm pretty persuasive.
All of a sudden, you see a huge spider start crawling forward. The humanoid jumps on its back, grabs his goat, and says, "Okay, let's go then."
All right.
Trail after them.
All right. So you guys travel back to the farm with this monstrosity in tow. And when you
Does it have
arrive,
a name?
what was that?
Does it have a name? We introduce ourselves, or I introduce myself.
My name is Silky, it says.
That's
Silky
a beautiful
Grimshadow.
name.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Silky. When we get there, I'll go up and do the talking with the Fuzzy Tail Farmer and kind of let him know that there's been a misunderstanding. And then I'll gesture you up to come up when he's calmed down and cooled down a little bit, I think.
Hey, you want to see something cool?
Sure.
What's your favorite drink or candy?
Galinden's favorite candy is red licorice.
Red licorice. Okay. That's going to be weird, but we'll try it. He gets a little container, like a little stone cup he has in his lair there, and he milks the goat, and the milk that comes out is red, and he hands it to you, and it tastes like the best red licorice you've ever tasted. He says, "This is buttermilk."
Oh, yeah, the magical goat.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So you head on back. You're met by clubs and pitchforks and axes as the Herringons come out ready for a fight when they see the giant spider approaching. They watch in amazement how Silky waves and squeaks a hello and seems to be friends with you all. Farmer storms out. He says, "What the hell are you doing?" Goody and Ella come out and says, "Hello, hello. What do you have to say for yourselves, Glindan?"
Glindan tells him, "We're here to broker a peace. We tracked down the culprit who was terrorizing your farm, and she felt like you had betrayed her, but we've managed to talk her into a peaceful resolution if you will allow her to come and work with you again. But instead of using her silk to trap travelers, she'll use her silk to wrap your confections and sell it on the market and make a lot of money. I have to warn you, she has an entire army of spiders in those woods. And if this doesn't go well, my fear is that you would be overrun.
I help her action to help along with Galindan's speech.
Nice. You have anything to add to it? Word-wise?
Yes. My employer, Buddy's Confections of Waterdeep, is interested in purchasing fine silk-wrapped confections in quantity for the lucrative Waterdeep market.
Goody speaks up. She says, this is all well and good, but there's a lot of damage here. Silky has to agree to help fix it.
Silky has already agreed to help in any way you guys ask, as long as you include her back in your group.
And Silky needs to agree not to eat anyone.
Oh, Silky I think Silky, based on what she told me, is willing to go to an entire candy-only diet.
Silky nods its head and holds the goat closely and says, I won't eat anyone if I can keep buttermilk. And
they all work hard, so at the end of the day, we can play hard.
And you can even have this. And he has a couple of cocoons like on the spider's back that he had for eating later. He hands them over. All right.
What's in the cocoon?
Well, one has, let's see, in the cocoons, one has a herringon in it from a nearby farm.
Am I alive?
And Silky sheepishly hands that one over and says, I won't eat any more of you. I promise. And the other one's got some treasure in it. One of the cocoons contains a backpack with 30 platinum coins, 50 gold coins, and a 10 gold piece garnet. And a wand made of twisted strands of dried ettercap silk. And a vial with a red fluid in it, which is given you guys as thanks for bringing him back to the bloody bonbons. And Farmer and Goody are relieved that their farm will be safe now. Goody's faith in Farmer and the lads is reinforced by them making the right decisions, and Farmer and Goody cook the characters, you all, a grand meal consisting entirely of desserts. The carrot cake is especially good. Elisande is grateful to be reunited with Buttermilk, and in time she and Silky bond over their love of marshmallow goat husbandry.
Lovely.
And
nice. Since
you were trying to negotiate a deal to buy from the farm, you will be rewarded by Bunny Carrotbringer when you return.
Outstanding.
And that is the end of the adventure. Go ahead.
Can we convince Silky to tell us more about the wand if Silky knows anything?
Yeah. Well, Silky doesn't know, but you're able to identify it afterward. So the rewards that you guys come away with, you can gain a level if you want, optionally. The wand is a wand of web. It is an uncommon magic item. The potion vial is a potion of healing, which is a consumable magic item. And finally, Farmer wants nothing to do with his former life as a bandit and hands over to you all his Herringon Spirit Club. That is an event award, which you can have one of or bring one of to an adventure. And this knotted club houses the spirit of a Herringon. While wielding the club, your ears grow like long hare's ears, granting you advantage on wisdom perception checks involving hearing. In addition, you can cast the jump spell once per day. And then you each gain 100 gold coins. Actually, there's only 4 of you, and that was 500. So you gain 125 gold coins each.
What?
From the gold buttons and the coins and the reward for the contract talks. And that is the end of Fuzzy Tail Farm and the Frightful Candy Goat Massacre. So thanks for playing, guys.